Can you all see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's go straight to the food log assignment. So this is what it's all about. The whole idea behind the assignment is to help you to be able to say, okay, fine, this is what I'm eating for a particular meal, and I'm doing well or I'm not doing well based on my total calorie intake. So if my total calorie intake is higher than what is recommended, then I know I'm not doing well. But you see from the class, the last class we had on macromolecules, um, your total caloric intake is a combination of what you get from diet, from carbohydrates, proteins, and fat. So the whole idea of the assignment is to help you to calculate the total calorie that you consume in an average meal every day. So many of you are going to leave nutrition, and we want you to have a very good experience about what contributes to dietary weight, and keeping in mind that being overweight is a prerequisite. I wouldn't use the word prerequisite, but being overweight makes you more predisposed to cardiovascular diseases. And now in Nigeria, we have, like I mentioned in the class, there's a growing increase because of many factors, especially because many people are not paying attention to their dietary intake and they're not making healthy food choices. So we know that many of you are not going to continue in nutrition. So we felt that it would be a good opportunity for you to at least have what it takes to make that informed decision. So this is an example of the assignment, and you're supposed to fill this assignment. But keep in mind that what you see here are the entries, that dummy entries that I made. And you probably, when you click on the food log assignment on your own Moodle page, you probably will not see anything. And the reason is because the settings does not allow you. So how is it going to work? I want you to pay attention to this second entry. So now it's a dummy submission, and basically you're supposed to keep a food log for 3 days. And for each of the days you're supposed to have a breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So how will it be like when this assignment is activated? You'll see it under add entry. Your screen is probably going to be, is not probably, definitely going to be something like this. So this is what you're going to see. So you're going to see a blank screen where you'll be able to, on each day, enter the meal type, either breakfast or lunch or dinner, enter the meal name, say this particular food was bread and akara, right? Then for lunch, you had going. I don't know if this is a spell of going. And for dinner, let's say you had macaroni and cheese. Okay, so you're supposed to do that, but this is where the challenge comes. You're supposed to enter the weight of your foods, because there's no way you can calculate the total calorie intake from your foods without the weight. And you can mouse over to see the details. So for example, if you mouse over, you see enter the total calories estimated from the food consumed. Then you have an information that energy content can be estimated from food composition tables. And someone asked me that question about the food composition table, which you can download. So we'll quickly go into that later on. Then the food group, which is also found in the food composition table. So this is what you're supposed to enter. But where the challenge comes is identifying the weight of the food. So I'll provide you with a database that can help you to do that. But the excellent way to do this is to weigh your food. So if you have access to a weighing scale, it's the excellent way to weigh your food. But if you don't, I'll supply you with a document that can help you. So take, for example, 2 spoons of beans. This is the weight. 2 spoons of rice corresponds to this weight. So you can use that to estimate an approximate weight. But like I tell you, the ideal is to get a weighing scale. So if you can, do that. But if you can't, you can use the table that will present you. So when you get the approximate weight, you will now get the total calorie from that weight. consumed. And that's where the food composition table um, will be useful. So in the food composition table, I'm going to show you one example of the West African food composition table. I'll show you quickly. And don't forget that you are peer reviewers, which means that you you're supposed to explain to those that your colleagues that will need your help. Okay, so um, I'm trying to open the West African food composition table. Okay, so I'm going to quickly share my screen with the West African food composition table. So, can you see the screen on the West African food composition table?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's already your class library. So don't be overwhelmed. The person that asked me the question should not be overwhelmed. So I've combined it with the Nigerian food composition table. So what you simply look at for, I will show you. So take for example, you consume bread. So just a minute. So imagine you consume bread. You Google, you just Control F to find bread, and it's still searching. Good. So it has found bread. So if you, in case I forget, it's 01046. That's the food code. Then the other information, we need the food group that it belongs to. And the third information is the kilocalorie, which is 249. That's all we need. So what food group does bread belong to? So that's one of the things you see at the introductory part of the West African food composition table. So what are the ingredients that are in bread? So it's basically cereals. You've not done it, but there's a lecturer that will take you on that. So you have, first of all, for the first group, group one, cereals products. Sorry, this is in English as well. But this is the, let's go to the English one. So we're looking for the food groups, foods and food groups. So starchy roots, tubers, and their products. Bread is made of wheat. Okay. So you have to now find out which group is bread in this case. Is it from cereals and cereal products? Are they from starchy roots, tubers, and their products? Are they legumes and their products? Are they vegetables? Are they fruits? Are they nuts and seeds? Are they meat, poultry? Are they eggs? So you need to make that judgment. So if bread, so what is a cereal? The idea is not to do the assignment for you, but imagine your bread is from, I don't know, cassava, then it's starchy roots and their products, Otherwise, it's the first group. So you go and take note of the first group, and if it's a cassava bread or cassava flour that you're using, then it's 2. So that will be the food group. So what we now do is go back and enter, have your entry as it were. So let's go back to, I'll stop sharing my screen now and share the appropriate screen on Moodle again. Yeah, I got it. So can you kindly give me feedback if you can see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So that's it. So now, so it will mean that that day for breakfast, okay, I had bread, okay. So it will mean bread will be, what was the weight of the bread? And that is what you need to calculate. So I'll give you a guide to that. But on an average, for example, I had bread this morning and I had 70 grams of bread. And I've been weighing for this assignment, I've been deliberately weighing my food for the past 3 weeks. So I ate 70 grams of bread this morning. And well, if you ate akara, you have to find out the weight and compute that with the akara. So 70, so let's say bread and akara. So 70 grams plus, let's say you had 80, one akara ball, a small size, about 20 grams. So if you had 4, that's about 80, about 80 grams. So 70 grams plus 80 grams. Okay, so the meal calorie for that was 249. Right? $249. But now, are you with me, ladies and gentlemen?
We are with you,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
So you recall that it was 249 kilocalories for the 70 grams. So it's tricky because in the food composition table, the amount of the weight is recorded per 100 grams. So if 70 grams, if 100 grams has 249, what will 70 grams have? So it will be 70 times 249 divided by 100. So that's how you calculate the corresponding calories in your own food. Because what you have in the food composition table is absolute. Okay, so I'm going to do that. Can anyone give me calculate that and tell me the answer? What did you come up with?
174.3, sir.
Good. 174.3.
174.3. Yeah.
So that would be what you calculated, what you ate, the amount of calories you got, kilocalories, for the bread. So you have to do the same for the akara. In the Nigerian food composition, you probably find that for the akara, but I mean, I'm not going to repeat the procedure. So in the same way you calculate the kilocalories for akara. So imagine for the akara, you had 160 kilocalories. So if you add those two, so can you add and give me the conclusion? 160 plus 174.3.
333.3. 34.
That's 334.3, or roughly 334. So it's enough to say 334 kilocalories. And what food group is it? 01. Sometimes the food that you're eating has multiple food groups, like your akara is a legume because it means from greens. So that's 2 food groups, 0, 3. And that's it for breakfast. So you have to do the same for all the foods. For day 1, day 2, day 3, and make a judgment. So imagine your total calorie intake for lunch was 560 kilocalories. Let's imagine, let's make it snappy now. 560 kilocalories. And imagine for dinner, it was 660 kilocalories, which is quite heavy for dinner. So what will be your total caloric intake for that day? Assuming you did not take any snack, because you could have taken, you see that every day has 4 options. So because this could have been a snack, that's why I put it as an option. And you have to account for that. If you took biscuit, you need to check the wrap of the biscuits to see how many kilocalories there. So, but imagine you didn't take any snack, and this was your total caloric intake for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. What will be the total be? 172.
That will be 1,554.
So 173.4. Are we in agreement? Are we in agreement?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So 1,393. So that means so now there's no space to write that here. So imagine total calorie for, so let's say we calculated that for day 1. Can you unmute? Can you mute yourself, Igbabo? Okay, so imagine you've calculated. How is this thing appearing on my screen? This is quite strange. Can you guys see what's writing on my screen?
Yeah, yes, I think somebody is writing on the screen.
How is that happening?
There is an option to write on the screen actually. So
Who will be
someone
doing
must
that?
have missed.
Person that wrote on the screen should clean it.
The person
wrote
must
on
have mistakenly done that. So another person is doing it again.
That's quite weird. Is this accidental? Okay, so so you can sum it up here. And while we were doing the calculation, we said that 1,393. So my total, so imagine for day 1, day 2, day 3, you sum up your total, you can now find your average. I can sum up in your report here that my average daily caloric intake for 3, or you can say 3-day calorie intake to make it smart. Or yeah, daily caloric intake was 1,393 kilocalorie. So you have to put it per day. Well, you said daily, but you still have to put it as per day. That's it. So how did you calculate? You can now come and explain here. So you can click down or here for the number, weight, calculated using a weighing scale. Or if you didn't choose a weighing scale, using the database I'll supply you, put it there. And how did you estimate total caloric foods? How did you estimate total calories of food consumed? Then you write like a description of how you did that. And that's it. So for the assignment, so when you're done, you submit, you save and view, and that's it. So once it's saved and viewed, you can then, yes, so it's now there and everybody, well, you will be able to view your entries. As you can see, is the third entry here. And this is what we've just done so far. And that's it from my end. Good night.
Goodness.
Good night,
Good
sir.
night, sir.
Good night,
Good night,
sir.
sir.
Good night,
Good night,
sir.
sir.